Test. More exciting than that. Yeah. Okay, I have 7:01. We'll go ahead and call this meeting to order. Can someone in Zoom land tell me if you can hear me?
We don't currently have anyone on Zoom. The marshal and I checked audio prior to the meeting.
Okay, thank you. With that, please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. United States. To the republic which stands. Okay, we'll proceed on to item number 2, additions, deletions, or corrections to our agenda. Do we have any?
We did have one item that was brought up by Trustee Bell. It's been a little bit of a discussion item previously. It typically those items would be brought to you at work session. As we didn't have one tonight, I'd like to ask that we add an item to item 8, discussion items, and that will be a request to support Team Rubicon function.
Okay, any other additions, deletions, or corrections? And if not, I'd entertain a motion. Yeah. It's been moved and seconded that we approve the agenda as modified. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, moving on to our reports. I think I start on my right, and this time I'll start on my left with Trustee Bell.
So before you have an update on the staging area usage status, the scorecard in support of item 7B, the revised staging policy for Planning Commission. And just a highlight, you'll see that for the week of 7/15 that all the areas are green, which means that all the staging areas are empty. No activity right now in town with respect to staging material.
Okay. Trustee Ives,
Nothing.
Trustee King,
Nothing.
Trustee Walker.
No report.
Okay, I'm going to report on what's happening down by the creek. It is our final FEMA project, and that is to remove the sediment from the creek itself. They were there literally all day today, and will be there again half a day in the morning. And I'd also like to put out a call for volunteers. The geese have proliferated to the point where even with a seasonal person, we are having trouble keeping up. We almost need to be able to clean up after them every other day. So if you're interested in helping us out, please contact Town Hall and sign a volunteer waiver. You need rake, bucket, broom, plastic bag. And I would go as far as say if you have a plastic bag full of geese droppings, just set it by the trash can over by El Paso Avenue and we'll pick it up. Well, that will move to staff reports.
We don't have any written reports in your packet this evening. However, just a couple of quick updates, not to mess up our beautiful green track record of staging, but that sediment that has come out of the creek will need to remain in that area until it has an opportunity to dry out and the guys can dispose of it. So that is going to be a little in the way for hopefully not too long, anticipated a couple of weeks until it has a chance to dry out, really weather dependent. And we know that we have some rain in the forecast. The other update on staging areas, they're largely empty, but there is a little bit of cleanup that needs to occur around them, and we're aware of it and working on it. Would like to thank Trustee Bell for helping to update that graph, very helpful. And outside of that, we'll have more updates and formal reports forthcoming next meeting.
Okay, we'll move into item number 5, public or initial public comment. Do we have anyone in the audience who would like to make comment? And you said there was no one on Zoom?
No one on Zoom, and we did not receive any correspondence for
Okay,
public comment.
we'll keep moving right along. Item 7A, Reserve Deputy Oath of Office. Come on up. Ordinances of the town of Green Mountain Falls. Office of Deputy Marshal. The office of Deputy Marshal. Of the town of Green Mountain Falls. Of the town of Green Mountain Falls. On which I'm about to enter. Upon which I'm about to enter. Best of my ability. To the best of my ability.
Thank you, everybody. Ms. Matos joins us from the El Paso County Jail. She came up here she got her post certification and wanted to start working the road. So here she is working for us. Well, we said that there's truly no department that can be successful unless they have a female on their department. And it's been something that we've been looking forward to a long time in the department. It makes the job easier with certain aspects, but also it gives us a different perspective, as males tend to be one way and females tend to be another. We need both of those perspectives. And so it's very important. So Alyssa, thanks for being here.
Okay, moving on to item 7B, and I apologize for any audio glitches we may be having. We just lost at least 3 microphones just tonight. And so we're going to have to go back and try to figure out what we can do and how we can do it. But yeah, so we're experiencing audio problems. If you hear noise periodically, that's what's happening. Okay, moving on to item 7B, revised staging policy from the Planning Commission.
So at the last planning commission meeting, they requested that this, be brought to you for your consideration for approval tonight. The staging policy is pretty well aligned with our land use code and provides language in there for, in the event that it does not. The main highlights of the staging policy are that it outlines a process, and that entails a different process for private projects versus public projects. The main concept behind that is that public projects are already approved by the Board of Trustees, and so you have determined in approving those projects that the benefit to the public outweighs any potential impact to the neighborhood or to the community as a result of it. And the Board of Trustees approves those staging areas along with that project. If this ends up being a private project, the applicant will need to, in addition to their application, apply for a temporary use permit. Prior to their project being able to begin, they will need to have that notice posted on the property. And citizens will have the opportunity to appeal that project. So that does require us following our appeals procedures, municipal code, to include that appeal being heard at a public hearing.
Okay, trustees, questions, comments. I believe planning commission voted, approved this to send on to us, if I'm not mistaken.
That's correct.
Manager Frank, are you happy with the wording of the policy?
I think it's, yes, the concerns that I had with it were addressed. There are a couple of things that could create private projects, a little bit more of a burden on the people doing those projects. So, you know, and that's certainly something that staff weighs in whether to approve a temporary use permit too. But I think that those projects are not in huge abundance here. Most of the projects that are going to be occurring, I believe, are public projects.
Is there a graduated scale of fees?
The fees associated with the temporary use permit and the appeal process are outlined in the fee schedule.
But in this case, it's referring to a time, if they've violated the time frame, that there'd be a graduated increase in the fee.
I think that that's something that we should probably discuss at a later date in order to be able to collect a fee retrospectively. We would need a mechanism in order to do that.
So you're still happy with this, even though it's not defined in the policy?
I think that that fee needs to be, I think that that fee needs to be set in the fee schedule.
Should the fee schedule be included in the policy?
I think that it should be referenced by the policy.
Where does this policy go?
It ends up being something that we utilize as part of the approval process for projects that, so it goes into a bank of policies, which isn't a ton, and it's really, you know, administrative until it becomes appealed, and then it lands on the appellate bodies.
Do we have a book of policies for Green Mountain Falls?
Largely, our policies have been codified into the municipal code.
Understood. But do we need a book of policies since we have one now?
We can put it in a book for sure.
That's all. Thank you.
Trustees, other trustees, questions, comments? If there are no other questions or comments, I'd entertain a motion.
I move that we approve the construction staging policy as presented by the Planning Commission.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve our staging policy as presented. The Planning Commission, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Our next item is a comprehensive plan proposal from the Planning Commission.
And unfortunately, I don't see this popping up in our packet here. Nope.
Mine either.
So this is, I can certainly pull it up and provide you all with a copy if you would like. And I apologize for this. We reordered the packet and it looks like it dropped off, so. Mhm.
Trustees, would you like to have a copy of this, or would you want to table it for future?
I went to the PC meeting and pulled it from there and read it. So I'm good.
Um,
Can you pull it up at least so we at least have it for,
Give me just a moment.
Mayor, could we take a poll of that preview of this? Could we just take a poll of who's had preview, because I have not.
would you like additional time?
What I'd like is for us to go ahead and proceed with discussion. We've got at least one member of planning commission here to review it with us and then sort of make that determination. But in terms of like this, I haven't.
I know I've, because I was at the planning commission and I thought it actually was in a packet. I don't know if I pulled it up from the planning commission agenda or not.
No, I haven't seen.
It'll take me just a moment to get it pulled up to
Okay.
this computer. I don't have access to that drive here.
Go in and print it out. I
I
mean,
go ahead and print it
we
out.
can recess for about 3 or 4 minutes. And then I can go in and print out about several copies because I think this computer in here does have access.
Yeah, it's a very short document, so I think it wouldn't take too long to get through.
Okay, we're gonna recess for about 4 minutes. At 7:19.
Mr. Olds, we're currently in recess. We didn't have anybody to help verify audio when we started the meeting. Can you hear us okay? If you cannot hear us, please indicate so in the chat or let us know. Just a couple more minutes and we'll come out of recess. Can you give me a thumbs up if you can hear us okay?
Yeah, ready to come out of recess. Okay, I have 7:24. We'll reconvene our meeting. We've been given copies of the planning commission item that was not in our package. So yeah, we'll go ahead and have staff brief us on this.
So perfect. At the last planning commission meeting, they made a recommendation to bring to you a proposal for the update of comp plan. This is the town's comprehensive plans, and they are proposing to conduct a midpoint update of the 10-year plan and draft some recommendations for your consideration. Their goals in doing so are to reconstruct the town's vision, to review the comp plan progress, challenge assumptions, and set some 5-year priorities and 10-year aspirations. Additionally, they would like to develop and prioritize feasible essential capital improvements for the coming 5 years, evaluate town needs and recommend efficient use of resources. They do have a proposed timeline of recommending this to you all, which that has occurred, and then ending with a consolidated inputs to be brought to you in mid of December of this year.
Okay, trustees, any questions, comments?
Are you happy with the recommendation?
I think that this is a great start and an exercise. This is more of an, what I would consider an audit of the comprehensive plan, but a really great place to start at a 5-year point.
Thank you.
Trustees, any other questions, comments?
Just one general question, and that is, October 15th, the public information session singular. So, and that might just be a typo. Is it going to be similar to the last plan where there's going to be multiple inputs for the town? Because that was, in my mind, the strength of the previous comprehensive plan was the numerous ways of input.
Certainly a critical component of any comprehensive plan is stakeholder engagement. I think that they were intending to do that public info session. There's certainly other ways that we can gather information and gather some public input based on the plan, so we can get some of these items posted to the town's website. We will have some challenges in making sure that they're ADA compliant on our website, but certainly some things that we can do there as that'll help to embolden that stakeholder engagement. For a mid-year comp plan update, this is probably sufficient if we were to go into a full-on planning project, particularly one that would include any funding from grants. That is one critical component that is required for eligibility for those grant funds.
Is this something where we want to consider adding another public information session between somewhere in their schedule? Just say add one more public info meeting.
One thing that might be really great, sure, ultimately, yes, but as far as where their timeline ends, it might just be a public presentation and a chance for public to make comments. So once the project is complete, prior to your approval, you might like to have those comments back from the public in order to help to guide your decision or the approval of the plan and priorities.
Yeah. Now trustee Bell has brought it up. I'm kind of thinking we might want to pencil something in. And it could be at any point, you know, whenever it's ready, just have, say, a minimum of 2 public engagement sessions.
And I'd like to add to that, there was multiple modalities last time, you know, where there was online, one-on-one interviews, public sessions. If we could at least have 2 different modalities for public input, that would be my preference.
Basically, we'd be adding the board comment of, please have a minimum of 2 public sessions with a minimum of 2 modalities each.
A little bit of clarification on that just for my thinking process. Each of those public sessions could be held in a different format. So one could be in person and the other one could be such as a survey that would go out.
Correct.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect.
So online survey, one-on-one, public forums. Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Trustees, any other comments? Okay, if there's no other questions or comments, I would entertain a motion. And remember, we do have the BoT comment of minimum of 2 public sessions with 2 modalities each.
Yes, I'd like to make a motion. First off, Mayor, thank you very much for taking the time, the recess, so that we could all be informed on the update to the comprehensive plan proposal. And I'd like to move that we accept the comprehensive plan update proposal as stated with the 2 additions mentioned.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the comprehensive plan proposal from the Planning Commission as modified by the Board of Trustees. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. We'll now be moving on to our consideration of resolution 2024-05, appointment to outside agencies.
This resolution that you have before you, you've seen before. I did want to make one comment that Ms. Esch is no longer representing the town as the PPACG CAC representative. And there is an opening there if anybody knows a willing citizen to serve on that committee. I do have some information that I could share with them that would help them understand what they would be getting into. The other addition that we have on here is adding trustee John Bell to the Pikes Peak Regional Building Department's Advisory Board.
Trustees, questions, comments?
Manager Frank, should the ex officio positions be identified as well?
We did not identify those as part of this resolution. It's my understanding that those items are just communicated, that there hasn't been a formal resolution utilized in the past to appoint those people to those committees. So it's rather just a communication that needs to occur.
Yeah, and just some clarification, the regional entities require it to be basically something approved by the board. And there are criteria associated with each of those positions. So the ex officio members would not fall under that.
And another housekeeping issue under PPRTA Board of Directors. It still shows Catherine Guthrie.
That is true. We only have one seat available for the PPRTA Board of Directors. So if you would like, I can make that change prior to the mayor signing this resolution.
Yeah, that would, yeah.
And Sunday you didn't mention it, but there's a typo. Under Water Quality Management Committee, it says Pikes Pack instead of Pikes Peak.
Thank you.
Thank you, trustee Ives.
Mayor, are you entertaining any public questions on this?
Yeah, I'll recognize, Ann.
I did that at one time. I would be glad to do it, but they don't need very much, but water is a very important thing. And if you'd like me to volunteer, I would do it.
You know, if you'd like to volunteer, we'd be glad to have you. Okay. Well, when this has to be updated and then I have to sign it. If we vote on it as modified and it's approved, then staff can update it and. Well, thank you very much for volunteering. Okay, trustees, any other questions, comments? If not, I would entertain a motion.
I move to approve resolution 2023-05, naming appointments to committees with the discussed modifications.
Do I have a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Do we approve resolution 2024-05, the appointment to outside agencies as has been modified during our meeting? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, moving on. All right, item 7E, Nate Felton and Michael Ortiz, a request for fee waiver. We'll start with staff and then we'll hear from the people who are wanting to have the fee waiver.
Yeah, wonderful. So we did have a request for the waiver of the fees associated with rental of the gazebo at the park in order to support a project in which I will allow the applicants to introduce to you.
Okay, and if you would, make sure the blue light is on and hopefully that microphone will work. And if you would, then state your names for the
Yeah, of course.
recording.
Is it working okay?
It
Sweet.
seems to be, yeah.
Awesome. Hey, everyone. Thanks for having us. My name is Nate Felton. I am a writer and director from Denver, Colorado. I wrote a movie called Emotional Toaster, and we are looking for a wedding scene that we think the gazebo will be the perfect match for. It's an independent project, so our budget isn't anything crazy. So I'm coming here today, hopefully to get that fee waived. And this is my cinematographer, Michael.
Yes. Hi, my name is Michael Ortiz. I'm the cinematographer on the project, so I'm in charge of camera department and lighting and everything to make the film look as best as it can look. And of course, the gazebo here is beautiful. It's a historic landmark that is, I mean, the tiles on it are beautiful. The design is really nice. It would really, having it in the film would really bring up the production value of it. And yeah, it would just benefit it because, it is so nice. So that's why we're here.
So we are currently working on the short film Emotional Toaster, which I already said. This is a humorous but heartfelt existential story about a man's life journey with his sentient toaster. This film is unique and there's no other story quite like it. We believe it has potential to leave a memorable impression on the audience. This is the scene that we want to film here is a pivotal wedding scene that will hopefully take place at your guys' amazing gazebo. The gazebo is visually stunning, as you all know, and will instantly increase the value of the project. We are making this film because we are passionate about storytelling and filmmaking. We've spent a significant amount of time perfecting the script to ensure that it's the best it can be. This film is not only a creative endeavor for us, but also an opportunity to contribute something original and entertaining to the world of short films.
Filming at the local gazebo will hopefully highlight the beauty of Green Mountain Falls, showcasing a historically significant part of it in a unique manner. It's also a way to create another historical memory for the landmark and showing, have something preserving how it looks in 2024 as it exists now. One of the goals for the film is to be shared at various state and national film festivals, bringing positive attention to the town, hopefully. We truly believe that if the rental fee were waived and we were granted the opportunity to film in this space, that it would not only greatly benefit us, but hopefully would also benefit this lovely town as well.
So for conclusion, we are dedicated to making Emotional Toaster a success and strongly believe that filming at the local gazebo will greatly enhance the quality of the film. We kindly request the town hall's permission to waive the rental fee, which unfortunately is prohibitively expensive for a production of our size and budget. Your support will not only aid the creation of this unique piece of art, but will hopefully help us add to the legacy of this wonderful gazebo in whatever small way we can. Thank you for considering this request. We are available to discuss any questions and concerns you may have.
Trustees, questions, comments?
I would like to know the details of the wedding.
Yeah, of course. So it's called Emotional Toaster. It is a guy going through life, just the ups and downs of life. And his toaster talks through burnt pieces of toast. So it's his best friend. He eventually marries it. And that's what happened at the wedding or at the gazebo, hopefully.
Thank you.
Trustees,
course.
additional questions, comments?
So you run to use it this Friday?
We would hope, yeah. It would be that would be the ideal day for us, yes.
Do you have any leeway in there? Fridays get pretty busy.
What's the other day? Saturday, possibly, because it's the wedding.
If necessary, I mean, we could come on a less busy day, like in the future, like during the week or something like that, if we had to. But Friday right now would be the best because we have crew already available, locked in for this weekend for certain days for certain locations. If not, we can push it. We could push it, but yeah.
So is there security you have, or I mean, when I say we get busy, we're a pretty small area.
Yeah.
And people come in, people are fishing, people are doing all their things on the weekends. That's primarily when we get really busy.
Right.
I don't know how that's going to impact you.
Yeah, of course.
Well, honestly, it maybe if it's ideal then, because we did visit the area and it was very busy when we were there. It was the 4th of July weekend. So we were like, okay, maybe it's because of that. We weren't sure. So actually, you telling us that is very helpful. And maybe it would be better to do it on a weekday then, like as a one-off day, and we can see about rescheduling something else, but.
Yeah.
Please.
Next.
How many films have you produced together?
This is going to be our 4th project together.
What were the other 3 projects?
So the previous one, our first film that we did together was called Superstitions. Do you want me to get into details?
No,
Summary?
just the titles.
Okay, of course. Superstitions was the first one. We went to Berlin to do kind of, there was like this co-living space that we did a commercial. There wasn't really a title for it, but it was to just showcase the networking session that was happening there in Berlin. And then the last one we did was called Short River, which was another short film.
So you mentioned there was, this would increase the value of the project. Explain that.
So right now we've been looking at different wedding venues and different things that that would fit what we're going for. When we looked up gazebos, because it's a classic wedding place that people get married, we were looking up different images in Colorado of gazebos. And as soon as we stumbled upon your guys's gazebo, our breath was taken away, and we were like, wow, what a gorgeous place. What a gorgeous place. And we also are very intertwined in the Colorado filmmaking scene. And we have a lot of friends who make films and different things. And we think that like Colorado people, there's a lot of people that make short films in Colorado, and we don't think that people really take advantage of how beautiful it is. And we thought that we wanted to go to the most beautiful, the place that we thought would elevate our film the most. And that we came upon the gazebo.
So you think it adds value to your project?
Yes.
Thank you. Would you mind telling me what your budget is for this film?
Yeah, of course. So we started a coffee. It's kind of like GoFundMe, just a different website. We were trying to raise $10,000 through word of mouth, social media, doing promo videos, different things like that. We are currently at 50% of our budget. It's an 18-minute long film. There's 12 locations. So we have 5,000, but a lot of that money is going towards art or going towards feeding our crew or going towards other locations as well.
Okay, other than GoFundMe or the executive producers?
Well, we didn't use, or go ahead.
So, I'm sorry, repeat that.
Who is the executive producer?
So, well, I guess mainly us, really. We're kind of, this is kind of self-funded, and then whatever we could raise. But yeah, mainly the majority of the money for the film is coming from our pockets. We have our producer Peter Neppy, who has a production company called 8 Ball Films. He's based in Denver, but he's helping us on the producing end, getting us, in contact with locations, getting us crew, all of those things. But as far as funding it, he's not funding it. So it's mainly coming from our pockets and this fundraiser.
So have you raised the $10,000?
We are at 54% of our goal. So we have $5,400-ish around right now. And it's been increasing, but as we've been promoting it more, but yeah.
Okay. And this is important. What assurance could you give us that you could finish the film and see it to fruition in the art shows, film festivals?
Oh, okay. Well, I can tell you right now, we get these projects done. We will not I'm like this with every project that I'm a part of. If I start a project like this, like a film project, our pre-production is extensive. As far as planning, when it comes to equipment, when it comes to the way that we're going to utilize the space, we do overheads. We do like a lot to ensure that we will see it to fruition, that things won't slow it down. It's all about planning, in my opinion, when it comes to filmmaking. It really is something that takes a lot of planning, a lot of time. I don't know how I can assure you, but I will tell you this film will 120% get done and will be submitted to film festivals. Absolutely. Yes.
Also, just so you guys know, we have probably 20 people-ish on our crew. So that is another thing that is reassurance that it's going to get done, because these people are our friends and they're willing to do all this for free, except for food. We have an actor in it as well. Like, them seeing it go to completion is their payment. So not only would we be letting down you guys and ourselves, but we'd be letting down a crew of 20 people and our main actor who's worked tremendously hard preparing themselves for this role. So there's a lot at stake, and no matter what, like, of course we can try our hardest and we can't like be like, okay, this is going to be the best thing ever, but we can just try our hardest and get through the whole process of the film because all these people are relying on it.
I appreciate your answer, and I can see your enthusiasm and your passion for what you do. But this is a business transaction.
Of course.
And you're asking us to give up $2,400 from the
Mhm.
town
Yeah.
based on your word.
Yeah, of course. We're also willing to, are you worried about potential, you're worried that it's not going to get made? What other worries do you have about it?
Well, if we donate this money
Uh-huh.
for the benefit of the town, then
Yeah.
we need, I would like to see some assurance that it would be finished and
Of
then
course.
exposed to the film festivals.
Could we give you a small deposit? And if it's not finished, you can keep the deposit? Would that be something that would be
That would
helpful?
interest me.
Yeah. What would be an amount that would be okay?
Well, let's just pass on that for the moment.
Okay. Okay.
I got a simpler question.
Yeah.
So currently we have an art installation on the gazebo bridge called
Yeah.
the Nimbus. And are you aware of any licensing rights or approval that's needed from that artist to make sure that it can be, you know, in your film? So that's something that needs to occur to make sure that.
Yeah, of course. You said it's on the bridge.
So right now, if you're on the bridge, that
Uh-huh.
large arc, this.
Got
raised to
you.
this is a
Okay.
contemporary art
That's what that,
installation,
okay. Yeah.
By an Australian artist.
Mhm.
And that was done on request of Greenbox Art Greenbox arts.org. And again.
No, it's an important question. No, I
don't know if
appreciate
the
it.
licensing fee is required or.
Yeah.
what-
So we know all about that world. The thing we actually discussed would be that, which tell us if you guys feel like it'd be better to go the other way. But when we saw it, we wanted it to have this very nature feeling, unique feeling. So we were actually discussing that we'd probably mask that out, the circle. We didn't know what it was, if what entailed it or things, but for what visual look we're going for, we have discussed that we would mask it out so it actually wouldn't even be seen in the film for right purposes.
And that's an artistic
Yeah, of
decision
course.
on your part.
Yeah.
I'm simply making you aware.
No, I appreciate it.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a good thing to bring up. It's always because I didn't even know that was someone's art, so I wouldn't have even known if we did want to use it, that would be so I appreciate it. Of course.
I have a couple of questions when you all are done or in the middle. So renting the gazebo would allow you exclusive use to the gazebo itself, not to the entire park or the lake. With knowing that there's probably going to be fishermen in the background from time to time. Is there anything that you have to do as filmmakers if they end up appearing in a scene in the distance? That's my first question.
So, so as far as US law is concerned, you are allowed to film people in public spaces without their written consent. If that were to happen, they would be out of focus to the point where they would be like unrecognizable because our focus, of course, is going to be on the subjects of the film that are in the foreground. I mean, in filmmaking, there's this thing we call cheating, where you'll turn things or move objects to kind of, try to say, okay, we're gonna shoot this from this angle. There's something in the background we don't like. We'll move this slightly this way. We'll shoot it like this, and we'll just get that out of the frame. That would be what we would try first. But in general, there won't be, as far as like people's faces being recognized and things like that, there will be no way to do it because we'll just be so far away.
Would you be opposed to providing some signage to allow people to know that filming is occurring in the area so that they wouldn't want to be?
Absolutely.
That actually benefit us to do that.
Yes, it would help us.
And
Yes.
then last question, would you be opposed to doing a local showing if upon completion?
No, absolutely not. We would love
We
to.
would be ecstatic to do that.
Yeah, I'd sort of like to tie that into trustee Walker's sort of assurances. Yes, if we could have that in exchange versus financial benefit, that would make me happy.
Yeah, we-
Question for town manager. When someone rents the gazebo, are they also renting the island?
It's the island itself is usually what we cordon off. We usually put signage at the beginning of at the bridge just to let other people know. And that's, for weddings and stuff, of course, for the concert series, et cetera. It's open to the public.
Okay, so Mike, well, first a statement. This is a registered historical site. Nothing permanent can be done, not even staples. So
no,
yeah, there would be no,
no,
there
absolutely
can
not.
be nothing, you can't staple anything up,
No, no,
anything
no.
like that.
No, we wouldn't.
And then I see here you're looking for a full 12 hours. Is
Yeah.
that negotiable?
Yes, it is negotiable. The thing is, like, people, I mean, I guess we're in this world, right? We're immersed in this filmmaking world. Normally 12 hours is like a typical day, because there's so much that needs to be done. You have to get so much covered from different angles. Sometimes if weather, for an hour or 2 hours doesn't cooperate, then you need more time to compensate for that. Um, you know, there are things that come up with equipment. Sometimes things fail or things don't work how you want in that exact moment. There can be interference from radios, different things that happen that mess up monitors. So 12 hours would be ideal. If not, it is negotiable. If like it's better, if 10 hours is better or something like that, we could see and we could try to make the schedule work. But 12 hours would be like the ideal amount of time, if possible, to break down, to do everything, to set up the filmmaking and then breaking down and then leaving it exactly how it was or better.
And Michael, how much time would actually be in the film?
It would really only be like around 2 minutes, but 2 or 3 minutes. But I mean it's out of a 18-minute film, so that's like a sixth of it. Yeah. So it's quite a bit. Maybe closer to
It
3,
might
yeah.
be closer to 3 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of the lengthwise, but it's hard to tell sometimes, but.
Typically a script, they'll tell you that like a script is like 1 minute per page. We have like 3 pages dedicated to that location, to the wedding scene. So it would be around 3 minutes. Yeah. Yeah.
Trustees, any additional questions or comments? Anything from staff?
Just to note that we haven't had any other requests to utilize the gazebo on that date.
Friday.
Friday.
That's this coming
Yeah,
Friday.
so it's coming right up. There have been no requests on Friday, the 19th to use the space. So we're not giving up anything other than the potential shotgun wedding down there.
Just to add real quick, because I know you brought up that it might be easier to do it on like a weekday type of situation. It would be beneficial to do it on that 19th. Just all these people that we have, the 20 people, we have other locations that we can move around and hopefully make that work if it's easier for you guys. But all these people are taking off time to also pursue their passion. And it's around 20 people plus us. So it would just be huge to do it on that date. But if that's a deal breaker for you guys, we can negotiate or work with you guys for that.
Yeah, we don't have anything else scheduled for it. It was just a consideration for what it's gonna be like in the parking lot, around the lake. Everything else is gonna be pretty busy.
Would you say that like on a regular day, like for example, a regular weekday, how much less people are there on a regular weekday than during the weekend?
Quite a lot.
Quite
Yeah,
a lot.
Lake Street will be filled from probably, and that's that street that it's in front of the pantry.
Yeah.
That's almost every day at this time of year. It fills up beginning about 7:30 till probably about 2:30 or 3.
Okay.
So yeah, it's busy.
Well,
So-
in that case, and in that case, it might be beneficial to us as well to do it on a later date, like on a weekday. Knowing that we came here on the 4th of July weekend, so we didn't know what was what. We were like, oh, this is busy, but it must be because of this, you know. But of course, you have like, I mean, you know, your town like logo or seal has the gazebo on it. I'm sure people love coming here on the weekends and stuff, so it makes sense.
How late could it go? Because we do have another event coming up in a little over a week. It will be a huge event. We will actually run out of parking.
Our intention is to be done with filming by the end of August, like fully with all the locations and everything. So we could I mean, we can be flexible maybe with that, and we can talk to our crew and try to get people for a later day, if available. And it would actually help a lot, because if it does really get so busy, like that is problematic to the film too. Yeah.
The other day to avoid would be, in terms of late evening, would be Mondays, because there's a music series
Okay.
that starts around 5 or 6 p.m. So that's Mondays. Evenings would also be a watch out for you.
Okay. That's good to know.
We can certainly work on selecting an alternative date, based on, folks not, or open dates on the calendar. Why don't you go ahead and get a hold of your crew? Let me know, your biggest issue down there, if the board approves, will be parking. How many vehicles do you anticipate having?
So our intention is to carpool. It'll probably be somewhere around 6 to 8 vehicles.
Carpooling would be highly recommended. Those parking spaces down there are limited, and they are used to support our business district. So
Okay.
I can help to work with you to find some alternative parking locations as well.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah, that would be very helpful.
Just to add on to that real quick, we can for sure park anywhere else as long as it's walking distance, if it benefits you guys as well. Yeah.
Hey, anyone want to? Any other questions, comments, maybe I should say? Or do you have maybe a motion?
Tom, is your concern about Friday? Because
No.
I wouldn't think there'd be a problem with Fridays.
This time of year, it gets pretty busy. I mean, the pantry's filled up, past 2 o'clock or 2 o'clock about. So, and we have a lot of fishing going on this year for whatever reason. It just seems like we got a lot more fishing this year. So it's not a concern. It's just a suggestion that it may benefit them to use a weekday rather than a Friday. It doesn't affect the town, but it may affect their ability to get done what they want to get done. So that was my 2 cents.
No, yeah, and we appreciate it, because it definitely is beneficial to do it at a time when there are less people. It's just in every sense, it would be a benefit. Yeah.
Go for it.
Why not? Okay. So here's what I'm contemplating. A $1,200 deposit, fully refundable if at the showing. Date to be negotiated with staff on something that'll work well. And we need to make sure we get Monday blocked out. The Monday's blocked out.
It's already blocked.
Okay. And that's kind of what I'm contemplating. Trustees, any other thoughts?
Would you entertain a clause of being mentioned in the credits?
I don't need
Oh.
that.
Oh no, that's a given already. If we're here, we can even mention you all by name. And everyone in the administrative office by name as well for their help. Yeah.
Oh, that's done.
Any other thoughts? If not, that would be my motion,
So we're essentially waiving the fee.
given that they actually go through with it and give the town a showing. Yeah. Unless you want to modify that to retain a portion. That's why I'm opening it up for discussion.
Well, I'll second that emotion so we can have the discussion.
Okay, further discussion. Any further discussion on the motion? Okay, well, it's got a second, so I guess I'll call for a vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Said I.
Use that, okay. Motion carries. Great, thank you.
Thank you so
guys.
much.
Yeah.
We appreciate it a lot. Thank you.
Okay.
Do we need to talk to someone after or just keep the
Let's,
meeting?
let's keep in contact.
Okay,
Okay.
awesome. Are we okay to go or do you want to talk after?
You can go, let's follow up tomorrow on the phone.
Sure.
Okay, awesome. Thank you all so much. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're to item 8, discussion items, and we added the team Rubicon. So trustee Bennett.
All right, so if I have the dates in my head correct, August 21 to August 27th, Team Rubicon will be here with approximately 40 gray shirts or volunteers, as well as anyone from the town that joins in. I know Trustee Walker's gone through his training, so he'll be participating. In the course of them being here, it's traditional for Team Rubicon to be offered a community meal, and I'd like to us to discuss at the next BoT meeting the ability to approve the funds for that meal out of the Kirkpatrick Family Fund Fire Mitigation Grant. I did spend some time with Becky's help reviewing the grant to make sure there was no restrictions, and indeed that sounds like a legitimate use of funding, and I've got Manager Frank's support that that it's within the grant's written such that there's no restrictions. We can do that. So
Is this going to be done in conjunction with Church of Wildwood?
and I'd like to, and Manager Frank, help me with this next part. And also tapping fire mitigation advisory committee on the shoulder to then organize and lead this event so that they pick the venue, they pick how the side dishes are done and all the other details. What I'd like to just put forward is getting the approval, the discussion of $400 to $500 for the meat side of the meal, so that they've got funds to work with.
I'd like to add just a little bit as part of this project, towards the end, when they wrap it up, they will be providing a summary sheet of the resources that went into accomplishing this project in the town of Green Mountain Falls. Our cost to get this project done, and it benefits, this is a very unique project in that it benefits homeowners and homeowners that don't have the resources to do mitigation of this scale on their own properties. So that summary sheet that they include as part of their planning process talks about how many man hours with the federally approved pay rates for those volunteer positions, so that we're able to utilize that data and say, this is the value of the project and how much was invested as a result of it. So a very small contribution from the town to thank them, show our support, and I think it'll take a little bit of volunteer effort, but I think it's quite manageable, and the Church of the Wildwood was certainly willing to allow us the use of their grill.
just adding to that, it'll be easily 1,000 hours worth of, that we'll get from Team Rubicon. It's going to be quite the contribution to the town. So quite the gift.
Is that something we can even vote on tonight, or does it have to be published?
Typically, these items get brought to you at work session and are introduced. If you would like to turn it into a business item, you certainly can.
Would you repeat that?
Typically, new concepts are brought to the Board of Trustees at work session. This is, I don't think it surprises anybody that this project's going to be going on. If you'd like to put it to a vote tonight, you certainly can.
Since it wasn't an agenda item with public notice, I don't think.
And we certainly have time to get this approved at your next meeting. That was kind of the intent of introducing it this evening.
Was there any discussion of the location of this meal?
Again, I'd like to leave those logistical details up to the Fire Mitigation Advisory Committee, probably the church in the Wildwood, because that facility will be used already for their meals. So during the week, they're going to have access to the church's kitchen. They'll have tables set up in Tattered Hall and will be, eating most of their meals there. So it seems like a logical place to me for this community meal. But again, I'd like to leave those up to Fire Mitigation.
And the reason that I asked is because Church in the Wildwood is housing them for the time that they are out here doing all this work for our town. I was wondering if possibly a different location for a community meal might be looked at as well. Maybe the Sally Bush building if it's available. Just to get them out of where they've been
Sure.
every single day.
I think there's a lot of logic in that. Makes sense.
Okay.
Okay, does that conclude our discussion item?
Yes.
Okay. Well, moving on to correspondence. El
Yeah.
Paso County Economic Development.
Yeah, I regret to inform you that we've received notice that our grant application for the urban trail and ADA improvements project was not funded this year. This is the community development block grant and the project that we had applied to purchase and install 4 pedestrian bridges in town to realign that trail. The feedback that we got from the granting organization is that they'd like to see more partner support of this project. So it is my intent to continue on pursue the GoCo application that would bring in Mile High Youth Corps to do the connection pieces of this trail in the meantime, and utilize that effort as grant support and match.
Manager Frank, when's the next cycle come up?
It's an annual cycle, so if we receive funding, we should have a notice of award from GoCo if we're able to get that project done, which by the next grant cycle should allow us to reapply.
Okay, if that concludes our correspondence, we'll move on to our second public comment. Do we have anyone in the audience that would like to comment? Go ahead, please. And we'll need you to do the usual, state your name and whatnot.
Lisa Bonwell, 10691 Illinois Avenue. I just wanted to remind everyone about Bronc Day coming up on July 27th. I am, as you guys know, the chair of the Bronc Day Committee and involved with our new nonprofit that's supporting. Want to invite you all personally to come and your families and anybody you know. It's going to be really fun. And I think our Grand Marshal was on tonight as well. So any questions or comments, or we're all very excited. I'm just sharing the excitement. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone, any other commenters in the audience? If not, we'll go to Zoom.
Not seeing anything on Zoom.
Okay, with that, it is 8:13 and we are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.